Hi, everybody. My name is Adrian. You guys can see me on the screen. I'm here at the Change Labs eShip Hub in Shiprock, New Mexico. So I'm happy to be here in this new beautiful space that they have here. I was here last month during the grand opening and the pitch competition where I got third place. So thank you, Change Labs, for hosting that. And that was a really fun event. So my name is Adrian Dotson. My business is called Rainmaker Media Group. And we do marketing services, public relations, communication services for native-owned businesses and enterprises. And today, my presentation is about how I use AI in my business to craft content, marketing content, whether it's your website content, your social media content, blogs, newsletters, that sort of thing. And I'll just jump right into it because I got a lot to cover today. Let's see. In marketing, one of the main things, the purposes of marketing is to communicate what you offer. And so being clear about what you do is very important because one of the main problems I see is that business owners, we like to be clever or playful. We like to use a lot of insider language, meaning jargon, about our industry, which a lot of times our target audience, they don't understand. And so it's very important for us to be clear about what we do so that when somebody comes to your website right away, they know that they're in the right place. They know, one, what you offer and how they get it and how it's going to make their life better. So we're going to talk a little bit about, how you can use AI to help you do that. So today we're going to talk about your finding your niche or your niche. Some people say niche, some people say niche. I used to say niche, but now I say niche just because I keep hearing people say it like that. So, and then again, we're using AI. We're going to be using AI. It's going to make the process a lot faster, and you don't have to do all the guesswork on your own. You got AI now as your thinking partner and as your pretty much your business partner now to help you run through your ideas, to validate things, to give you even more ideas. And I'm going to show you how to do all that. You can use AI for market research, trying to figure out what are the pain points your customers are having, where are the gaps in the market, who are your competition, what are the opportunities in your industry, and then we're going to define your customer journey. What are the things that you can offer your target audience that go beyond your core offer? Sometimes if your core offer is like maybe $1,000 and, not everyone's going to have $1,000, but maybe there's something you can offer them for free to get them into your funnel. And then you can kind of, work them up to that higher core offer. And I'll show you how to do that. And then once you have those in place, then you can create your brand story or your messaging that's going to go on your website and your brochures. And how are you going to make it resonate with your audience? And I'm going to show you a powerful framework called the Story Brand Framework that I use for positioning your customer as the hero of the story instead of yourself, so that your customer is more engaged because you're talking about them and you're talking about the problems that they're facing and the transformation that they want to experience in doing business with you. So we're going to create the brand story. I'm going to show you how to use AI to create your website copy using that brand story. And then, how do you how do you plan your content strategy? Now you have your website, you have your brand script. And so how do you develop content for your website so that you can rank on social, so that people can find you, meaning you rank on search engines when people search on search engines, search engine optimization, SEO? How do you make content that can be found by Google and now these AI engines when someone's searching for something related to your industry? Like, how do I save money on my bookkeeping? And I have Delphina, who's on the call as well, and we're going to be using her business as an example. So it's going to be kind of it's going to be a demonstration on how I work with my clients. And then once you have your content strategy, how can you use AI to actually create the content to make it fast? Because a lot of times, before AI, it would take a long time to one, come up with the ideas and then actually develop the content. And then sometimes you see the content that's created by AI and you could tell it's created by AI. And that's not really going to help with your search engine optimization because, Google AI knows when AI recognizes AI pretty much. So you want to be involved in the process so that it doesn't seem so AI generated. So I'll show you how to do that as well. So again, finding your niche. This is your foundation. This is especially if you're a small business. I'm kind of frozen, I think. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Okay.
can hear you.
Great. Thank you. So again, you don't want to be all things to all people. You want to find your niche. Somebody, one of the business influencers I follow, his name's Alex Hormozy, and he's like, just pick any niche because that's going to help you get a foot in the industry, because you can't approach an industry and say I can do all these things. Nobody's really going to believe you. Plus, you probably can't. So figure out what is it that you do best, what industry you want to work with. And a lot of times, that's going to come from your experience. Where have you worked at in the past? Looking at your personal and professional network, where do you have inroads? And you can always expand or change your niche, but it's good to get started with that. And then once you find out who you want to work with and what you want to provide, what is the unique value proposition, what exactly or why exactly your audience should work with you. So I'm going to show you this prompt. So I have these Google documents and they have these prompts that I use, and I'm going to share these with you. So I'm going to copy this link. I'm going to put it into the chat so that you guys have access to it. And if you guys are on your computer, maybe you can maybe you can go through it with me for your own business. So there we go. Everybody should have access to it now. Let me check the permissions real quick. Oops, one with the link. Okay, done. All right. So prompt number one, I have them numbered in order so that you know which one to use first. So this is your niche navigator consultant. And what you're going to do to begin enhancing your niche focus, you're going to copy this entire prompt below and paste it into your preferred AI chatbot like ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude. I use Gemini because I have a subscription to the Google Workplace, so I pay Google for my email that's connected to my domain, my Rainmaker Media Group domain. So like I said, you're going to start here with the prompt and you're going to copy this whole thing. And if you read this prompt, my prompts are really long because I like to be really specific and I like to give the AI the context of what I'm trying to do and what I'm trying to accomplish. And I even tell it, what should be the outcome. So the more context and the more direction that you give it, the better of the result it's gonna give you. And so when you have time, I recommend, reading this prompt because it's going to talk about, the foundation, why the niche is important, what are the key elements of your niche. Like I was saying, your personal experiences and your unique skills. What are the problems in the market that you're observing? And then how are you going to leverage your current network as your starting point? And then also, so this prompt is going to help you focus your niche and find a niche that's actually profitable. And how you know it's going to be profitable is if it's an actual pain point that your target audience is facing. And also, does this target audience have the purchasing power to buy what you're offering? Is it easy to target? Can this specific group be easily identified and researched for marketing purposes? Is this a growing market? Is there urgency to solve this problem? And is the market size big enough for what you're offering? And so when you have, like I was saying, when you have your niche, you can create your unique value proposition. So your niche answers who and what the problem is, and then your unique value proposition answers why choose us. So again, here's some more information about your niche, about what is an effective, unique value proposition. It's clear, concise, specific, unique, problem focused, benefit oriented. And so here's the instructions I'm giving to the AI, evaluate the viability of the niche the user provides. So I told the AI to, ask the user, ask you, what is your niche as a starting point? What do you think your niche is? And then it's going to give you the feedback and try to refine it and to focus it. So I already copy and pasted the first one already. So as you can see, I copied that whole prompt and now it's asking me to start. Please describe the core product and service you currently offer or plan to offer by completing this sentence. So it says blank, we provide blank, which is the describe your service you perform for blank, the group you perform your service for, so that they can blank, which is the results that they can expect. I was gonna get Delphina to help me out on here. Delphina, are you on there? Can you unmute yourself?
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
How are you
All right.
doing?
I'm doing good.
Delphina is helping me out with my accounting so that I can qualify for the kinship loan that they have here at the Change Lab. So if you guys need some funding for your business, Change Labs can help you out with that and help you with some resources to get your financials in order. So Delphina, what's the name of your business?
Water Edge Business Solutions.
Is it Water Edge 2 words or 1 word?
1 word.
So at Water Edge Business Solutions, we provide what?
Accounting, bookkeeping, and financial services.
Keeping and financial services, services for who?
Predominantly rural and remote small businesses.
That's a good niche. That's very specific. So they can what?
So I
What is
can
the
provide
result?
just to grow and prosper with those small businesses in their finance.
Well, what can the
Does that
businesses, what is the result after you work with the businesses? What is the result for the business?
I want the businesses to basically understand how they're running and operating their business on the financial side of their businesses and utilize, those numbers that they have, their actuals, and basically grow their business year over year, kind of, and then basically understanding their numbers. Like in a nutshell, I guess. Does that kind of make some sense?
Yeah. So we don't got to be too specific here or
Yeah,
too right
I'm
now.
just trying to be as high level, just like understanding their financials and just growing so they
Yeah.
can get more opportunities like these loans, grants, and then making
Right.
sure they're tax prepared every year over year now.
Right. So I just said so they understand their financials and can grow their business.
Yes.
Just keep it simple.
Okay.
And so now that the way I set up the prompt, I basically said, I'm going to give you my initial unique value proposition, and you're going to help me focus it and refine it so that we actually target a profitable niche. I said, thank you for that great starting point. Your description highlights who and what and why. Now let's explore the pain points of your target audience. In your experience, what are the top 1 to 3 frustrations, challenges, or urgent problems these rural and remote businesses owners face regarding their financials?
A lot of small businesses in Indian country don't have the best internet connections.
Okay, what else?
And then the resources for just the small business resources, I think, like a hub, because Change Lab itself, we only have 2 now, and they're far from each other, but we still have that. A lot of other communities, just getting to those 2 locations are probably driving 1 to 2 hours just to utilize these hub sources.
Those are good. We'll just leave it
Okay.
at that for now.
Okay.
All right. So now let's explore your unique expertise. Please describe your specific experience, skills, or background related to this niche. What gives you an advantage in serving this particular group? For example, do you have personal experience with rural living, a specific certification, or technical skill that help you overcome the connectivity issue?
I'm a Native women-owned business and now have over at least 6 years of understanding how remote rural businesses are operating.
Okay, that's good.
Okay.
Based on our conversation, here's an analysis of the path forward to help you define a profitable niche. Summary of your business and expertise. You offer accounting, bookkeeping, and financial services to small businesses in rural and remote areas. You help these businesses understand their financials so they can grow. Your unique advantage as a Native woman with over 6 years of direct experience operating in this environment, you have the intimate understanding of the unique challenges, from poor internet to lack of resources that your target audience faces. This builds an immediate rapport and credibility that others cannot match. So it's going to recommend some potential niche recommendations. Number one, top recommendation, financial services for Native and Indigenous owned businesses, which is what you do. Second, accounting for remote-based e-commerce and digital businesses. 3, financial advisory for rural-based startups, and your unique value proposition so it's recommending number 1 as kind of the top recommendation. So this would be your unique value proposition. For Native and Indigenous owned businesses, Water Edge Solution provides culturally informed financial and accounting services that go beyond the numbers. We help you navigate complex financial systems and secure the resources you need to build and grow your business with confidence, leveraging our unique understanding of your challenges and goals. So it really just took all that, what we went through, and made it into a clear, unique value proposition. So, that's something that could go on your website or on your brochures, stuff like that. We can even simplify it if you want to, because most people, they read at an 8th grade reading level. So you could say, can you simplify this? And so that, it targets that it's understandable for at an 8th grade reading level. But for now, we'll leave it how it is. So the next step in my process is, we'll go back to my slideshow actually, doing your market research. So AI, especially Gemini, because it's built on the Google platform. And so it has access to the Google search engines and has access to the internet. So it can do some really great, powerful research for you and research hundreds of sources in minutes for you. And so what we want to do is we want to uncover the pain points of your target audience. We want to analyze your competitions. We want to identify unmet needs in your market, in your niche. So again, we're going to copy the entire text of this specialized AI prompt. We're going to go back to our AI chatbot. The same thread is best for context. So we want to keep it in the same thread. And then we're going to paste the prompt into the chat window and press enter. So in the research scope, we're going to, let me see. I just want to show this. Market overview and sizing. We're going to look at the market overview. We're going to look at demand and pain point analysis. Yeah. We're going to look at existing solutions and the gaps, meaning your competitive landscape. We're going to look at your ideal client segmentation and characteristics. And so that's basically what we're going to have Google do this it's called deep research. And I'm pretty sure the other AIs can do that as well, like ChatGPT. You might need a paid version of it, but even if you don't, you can just tell it to do the research and it'll give you something good. So here at the bottom, there's this option for deep research. It wants to do a new chat, which is fine. Hold on. All right. I don't like this thing that keeps popping down when I'm trying to get to my, excuse me. I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to go back to my unique value proposition. So what you want to do is you want to copy that unique value proposition that you came up with. Control copy. I'll just paste it in here at the beginning. And so now it knows the niche that I want to do the research on. And again, like I said, I went to this options and I clicked deep research. All right.
And that's the prompts for
Yeah.
the person people.
Yeah, so I put it in the chat. I'll probably need to put it in there again because I noticed on Zoom when you come in late, you don't see the conversation that had happened that you missed out on. So I'll share it again. But yeah, I know we'll figure out a way to get you guys the link to these prompts. Okay. But yeah, we'll definitely get you those. So then Google Gemini's saying, here's my plan to tackle that topic. Let me know if you need to make changes. It's going to investigate the size and economic impact of Native and Indigenous owned businesses, including historical and projected growth rates. So this should be fine. We're going to start the research. This is going to take a couple of minutes. So we'll just talk about the next section and what we're going to do. So after we get our research, The next thing we're going to do is we're going to define the customer journey through a product ascension model. And so like I was saying, say your product or your service costs $1,000 at your core offering. And so a lot of people, they're not going to be able to pay that right away. Or maybe, you need to build some rapport with them. You need to build trust with them before they're going to invest that $1,000 with you into their business. They want to make sure that you can actually deliver. So you want to have like a, they call it even a value ladder or a product ascension model, which like you have a free offering in the beginning. A lot of times it's like a free guide, or some people use webinars. They'll say, I'm putting on a webinar and it's related to your service or what you offer. And so you're demonstrating, you're giving away kind of free information and free value. That way they sign up for your webinar or they sign up to get your free guide, and now they're in your funnel. You've collected their email address. So like anytime you register to a webinar, you got to put in your email address. So now I have your email address, and now I can start sending you emails and even more, I can send you more resources, or even try to just build that relationship with you, so that we start to build trust. And that, say if your product is $1,000, like I was saying, maybe there's something else that they can buy for even less, like $20 or $100. Maybe it's a subscription, but you want to be able to work your way up to that $1,000. And so you want to put them into your customer relationship management system, CRM, or however you do it. Put them into your spreadsheet, and track the information. I sent them an email. They downloaded my guide on this day. I sent them an email on this day. Sometimes you want to have like a follow-up sequence. If you use like an email customer management system, that like an email marketing tool, like MailChimp or Constant Contact, so that you're sending them emails like maybe once a month, or a newsletter, just so that you're on top of you stay on top of their mind, and they don't forget about you. And that you're there for when they're actually ready to invest that money. And then even though you have your core product, which is like $1,000, what's the next thing you can offer them? What's the next problem that they're having related to your service? Once Delphina fixes all your accounting, what's the next thing that you can offer them? I think one of the services that Delphina offers is like a fractional, what do they call them? Fractional CFO, fractional Chief Financial Officer, meaning she can be your financial officer, like on a part-time basis. Because a lot of times, if you don't have that, you're going to need it eventually. So you want to continue figuring out what's the next thing that your customer needs, or what's the first thing that your customer needs, so that you can be there for them every step of the way. So let's see, is there any questions? Anybody have any questions in the chat? What are they saying? They don't understand? Oh yeah, everybody loves Delphina. So here's the research that it came up with. I like to export this to a document, a Google Doc, so then I can bring it back to my original thread. But we'll just kind of skim through it, see what it says. Culturally informed financial services for Native and Indigenous businesses, a strategic market intelligence report. Executive summary, your niche market overview, market size. It has information from the Census Bureau statistics. There's a whole lot of good information, because this thing, it searches, like I said, hundreds of sources to get these information. Growth projections and key trends, geographic and demographic insights, deep dive, what are the demand and pain points, systematic financial barriers, operational and regulatory challenges. So put this matrix of core pain points and root causes, competitive landscape and unmet needs, analysis of the ecosystem and existing solutions, strategic gaps and opportunities, competitive landscape and service offerings, ideal client profiles, client segmentation, purchasing behavior information sources, client segmentation profile, strategic insights. So here's your client segmentation: small scale entrepreneurs, established tribal enterprises. And then here's all the works cited that it went through. So now you have all this insight into your market. Yes, question?
Want to just get Arizona stats and the 22 tribes in Arizona, would you give me the data?
Yeah, we would have had to put that into our initial, our niche, if we would have said that. So that would have been a good thing to put in your niche or your unique value proposition. But I'm pretty sure this will be relevant to that as well. So going back to that first, go ahead.
Then to Navajo population.
Yeah, I do. I think because there's a lot of research on the challenges that natives face, and there's a lot of organizations like Change Labs, like, NAU, ASU, U of A, they're all doing research on how to figure out, what we're facing here in our communities, which is the lack of jobs, the lack of businesses, the lack of services. So, this is a big challenge that a lot of people are trying to answer. So I'm going to go back in, I'm going to go upload my file that I just created. You can either download it as a PDF and then upload it. So now it has my file on my original thread. And I'm going to go back to, and I'm, like I was saying, we're talking about the customer ascension model. So I'm going to go back to my next prompt. And so in this next prompt, the AI will act as your product ascension model strategist. And I'll just kind of go over a little bit. What is a product ascension model? It's crucial for maximizing lifetime customer value, LTV, building trust and demonstrating value, addressing evolving needs, maximize customer lifetime value, create a competitive advantage. So we're going to use the research to figure out what can we offer the customers that we identified some of the gaps. We've identified some of the opportunities. So how it works is, like I was saying, you got your free offer, which is actually, you call it a lead magnet. So you offer them something for free in exchange for their contact information, their email. And that can be like a PDF guide or ebook or a webinar, a mini course, a free trial, a checklist, a template. And then you have your core offer. And like I was saying, you might have, something in between there if it's a big enough jump. So you want to have something that you might want to have something that's low cost, like a low cost course or a premium template pack, something for a small fee that, again, builds that relationship and builds that trust even further. Then you have your core offering, and you might want to have an upsell or a cross sell or a second upsell or a cross sell, because actually what they found is that when people are in the buying mood, if they buy something, a lot of times they get in a buying mood and they're willing to buy something else. So that's a good opportunity to offer them something else that's related to your business. Like if I sell them a website service, then it's probably a good time to actually add on like an ongoing maintenance package or something like that. So you want to figure out what else can you offer them. And then you want to figure out what's a high ticket offer that's like it addresses the most complex high value problem for the most committed or largest clients, because some of your clients are going to have big problems. And if you can figure out a way to solve that for them, then they're willing to pay a lot of money. I'm talking like $10,000 packages here. So this prompt is going to give you some ideas based on the research that we did about your niche. So I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And again, when you have some time, read through these prompts, because I've given it a lot of context about what I want it to do and why. Increase the size of this. Over here. So here's your product ascension model for Water Edge Business Solutions. One free offer. This is your lead magnet. You could do a IRA tax credit guide and checklist. So it's a downloadable PDF titled Navigating the New IRA, a Clean Energy Tax Credit for Guide for Tribal Entities. So I don't know if that's relevant to your business, Delphina, but again, these are just ideas. You can always say to the AI, give me some other ideas. Like, this is not relevant to me, and tell it why. I don't deal with, energy tax credit. If that's, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with that. I would be more like products with small business rather than tribal entities. That's my focus, is just the tribal small businesses.
So I'll just say, give me another ascension model that is focused on small businesses. And you don't have to spell everything correctly, because AI can figure out what you're trying to say. So your free lead magnet might be your first year financial checklist, a straightforward one-page PDF checklist titled The Small Business Starter, your first year financial checklist. So this would be something that you would advertise like on your Facebook or on Google or on LinkedIn. Like if you're going to advertise, it's better to say, if you're going to put money into advertising, advertise this checklist, say download this free checklist instead of advertising, oh, I offer accounting services and it costs, $1,000. That's going to be hard for people to opt in at that, right at that point. They don't know you, they don't trust you, so you got to offer them something for free to demonstrate your expertise and build some rapport and once you've offered them something for free and then they feel like, okay, well, this person gave me a lot of good knowledge for free, and there's that law of reciprocity that starts to take place. And then maybe there might be another inexpensive, they call it tripwire offer, which is not necessarily your core offer, but you could offer like a simple bookkeeping mini course. So maybe for like $20, you got three courses that are maybe 20-30 minutes showing people how to set up their accountings, a low cost self-paced mini course offered online, or a series of short video modules. And then you have your core offer, which is the done for you bookkeeping and reporting, and that's going to be your main, a monthly bookkeeping service package. And I believe that's what you offer, right, Delphine?
Yes, I
That's
do.
like yep, see, that's your main business. But these first two are things that you can do just to initiate that relationship and get those people into your funnel and start the conversation with them. And then, what's your if you have a high ticket offer, a growth and grant strategy retainer, a 6-month to 1-year retainer focused on strategic growth, a comprehensive service that includes the monthly bookkeeping plus strategic planning for growth. This involves creating a detailed business plan, assisting with grant applications, providing a clear pathway out of poverty by helping them secure the resources needed for expansion. So then you become like a strategic partner to them. Instead of just being a vendor, you become a strategic partner for them, and you can command or you can charge a lot more money for that kind of services. And then here's some optional tier, some additional options you could offer them: a quarterly financial health check-in membership. So again, this is about how do you, instead of just charging getting one customer and then charging them one time and then letting them go, how do you get the most out of them? And then how do you offer them the most value while at the same time, getting the most value from them? So it's a mutual exchange of value, but you want to figure out, like I was saying, what's the next thing you can offer them. So once you figure out, once you choose what you want as far as your offerings go, we'll go back to my slideshow here. Now you can start with your messaging. And so this is the story brand framework that I use. Kind of what my niche is the messaging for your websites, for your outgoing, for your client facing brand messages. And this can even be internal too, because you want everyone in your organization, if you have employees, you want them to all be on the same page and understand how are we communicating to our customers, and how are we positioning ourselves. And so this framework it's a powerful framework. It's used by a lot of big organizations, and what they do is that they position your client as the hero of the story, as opposed to what most small businesses do that don't understand this framework, or they don't have a marketing consultant that they pay tens of thousands of dollars to. They talk about themselves all the time. They're saying, well, we have this many years of experience, and we have this many degrees, and we, I, me, and that, our mission is this, and we believe in this, and we can do this, but they're not talking about your customer. And so if you're thinking about like a story, in any good story, people like the story because they see themselves as the hero. Whether it's like Star Wars, think of Star Wars, everybody can kind of relate to Luke Skywalker especially on the res, because Luke Skywalker pretty much grew up on the res, remember, in that he lived on a desert planet, and he wanted to get out, and he wanted to go with his friends, and he wanted to explore the galaxy, but his uncle said, no, you need to stay here and help me on the farm. So that was the problem, he wanted something more for himself, and but there was a problem. He needed to stay to help his family. So you need to position your customer as the hero of the story. They're the ones with the problem. And you, as the brand or as the company, as the business, you position yourself as Obi-Wan Kenobi, because you've been through there. You've got the answer. You've got the process for them to become a Jedi and to achieve the transformation that they want, that they desperately desire. So that's really what marketing is about. It's about transformation. How you're helping your customer transform into the person that they're trying to be, or the business that they envision for themselves. So we got a prompt for that one, right? So now that we know what you're going to offer them, we've done some research. So let me just go over the framework real quick. So these are the story brand framework principles. Principle number 1, you have a character. The customer is the hero, not your brand. A story begins when the hero desires something. So if there's no problem, if the hero is not facing any problems and everything's just flowers and roses, then there's no story. And that's really the hook, is the problem that your customer is facing. And then the customer, they want something, right? But they have a problem. And so the story becomes captivating when the conflict is introduced. The problems resonate deeply. Businesses must define and articulate their customer's problem. And a lot of times, this is really how you can build rapport with your customer, because there's 3 levels of the problem. You got the external problem. What is the external problem that they're facing? But then how does it make them feel? So if you can articulate how it makes them feel, then they're going to be like, oh, this person understands me. This guy knows how I feel. And then if you can articulate why it's an injustice, which is the philosophical problem, like no one deserves to be facing this, or no one deserves to be experiencing this, then that creates an even deeper level of connection with your customer. This person understands how I feel, and they agree that I shouldn't be dealing with this, because they agree with you philosophically. So that's another layer. And so and then the next is the guide. That's where you position yourself. Customers are seeking a guide. They don't need another hero. They need somebody to help them. So that's why how you position yourself as a guide is by expressing empathy and authority. So by expressing empathy, you're saying, well, we understand how you feel. We know how you feel. We empathize. And that's just a simple statement, like, we understand. And then your authoritative statement is giving you that credibility, is like what gives you the credibility to guide this person or this business. We've helped hundreds of customers. We've, been around 20 years. What can you say that's going to give you the authority to help this business or this person? And then every good guide gives the hero a plan. And so we want to keep it simple and clear. And a lot of times the plan is going to alleviate a lot of the questions in the mind that your audience or your customer is having. Like, a lot of people don't want to be overwhelmed with too many steps or convoluted. So you want to make it a simple 3-step process if possible. Even though you might have like 10 steps in your process or 9 steps, you want to condense it to three main steps. So it seems like it's a simple process, and the customer knows, what's next. And then the next thing the guide does is call them to action. And so, in your marketing, you want to have a clear call to action. You want them to buy now. Do you want them to call? Do you want them to schedule an appointment? A lot of times, we forget that. We assume that they're going to know what to do. So again, that's like buy now, schedule a consultation. And sometimes you want to have that transitional call to action. Remember that free guide, that lead magnet? Sometimes they're not going to be ready to call now. Sometimes they're not going to be ready to buy now. They need more information. They need to know if they can trust you. So that's where that lead magnet, that free offer, comes into place. Download our guide, register for our free webinar coming up, learn more. You want to be able to get their contact information so that you can start building that relationship with them. And then you want to tell them what are the stakes? What's at stake? You want to help them avoid failure. You want to communicate what they're going to avoid by doing business with you. And then the seventh step is, what is life going to look like after they've done business with you? You don't want to assume that people automatically understands how your brand can transform their lives. So you want to paint a picture for them. And so those are the things that you need to have in your marketing communications. So let's see, we're going to copy and paste this prompt. And if you say, like, if you just tell the AI, create me a brand script using the story brand framework, it'll have an idea of what you want it. But I like to be really specific in my prompts, give it a lot of context. I always like to also tell it, like, you're a world-class marketing strategist and certified story brand expert, so it kind of knows its role. The AI knows its role and what it needs to do. Okay, so in this prompt, it's actually going to go through and verify each step. So number one, the character, every great story, the customer is the hero, and the story begins when the hero wants something. Based on our discussion, your clients, the small business, scale, native and indigenous owned entrepreneurs, have a clear desire. They not only want to sustain their business, but also use it as a vehicle for community empowerment and cultural preservation. Here's the draft for what the hero wants. The hero, an indigenous entrepreneur, wants to grow their business and achieve financial self-determination so they can preserve their culture and empower their community. We're just going to say yes because we're strapped for time here. The villain, the problem, is the financial system that is not designed to support native and indigenous owned businesses, making it difficult to access capital and navigate complex regulations. So we'll just say yes. The guide, as a native woman-owned business, Water Edge Solutions is a trusted guide. We understand your unique challenges and financial journey and possess the expertise to help you navigate it. There, you might want to add a little more detail about, what makes you qualified. Like, we've, been in business 20 years or 6 years, you said, and you could even say, like, we've grown up in this environment and we know exactly what you're facing. So here's the plan. Meet with your guide, build your foundation, get your bookkeeping and financial reporting set up correctly, grow with confidence, access the funding and strategic guidance you need to thrive. So, that we're making it sound like it's a simple process for them, even though I know for a fact it's like pulling teeth to get your financials in order. And then what's the call to action? Schedule your free consultation. And if they're not ready to do that, you have your download our free IRA tax credit guide. I can't remember what we had instead. It wasn't the free tax credit guide, but we'll just say yes for now. Again, this is just confirming the details. You can always say, no, that's not right. We want to do something, we want to change it. So again, you want to tell them what they're avoiding. What pain are they avoiding? If you fail to act, your business will continue to be held back by a complex financial system that doesn't understand your unique needs. You risk missing out on critical funding opportunities and may struggle to achieve the financial self-determination you desire. So see, I can definitely relate to this because my financials were not in order, I have to wait in order to apply or get approved for the kinship loan program. And that's why Delphine is helping me out. So this definitely resonates with me. And then ends in success. By partnering with Water Edge Business Solutions, you will achieve financial clarity and confidence. Your business will be positioned for sustainable growth, allowing you to secure the funding you need to not only thrive, but also build a lasting legacy that empowers your community for generations to come. So you see in this messaging, we're saying we're talking about the customer and their problems and what life's going to look like for them. And we're not really talking about us except for that guide section. And we'll just say yes here. So once you have this brand script, this is like the overarching message for your business. And this is like, you want your employees to learn this and to adopt this. And this might go into your, your handbook or your whatever you have. And then you can go through the same process. Like if you have different services or different products, you have this overarching umbrella brand script, but then you can have more specific brand scripts for each product or service, just so that you know how to communicate about it. And so when somebody asks you, what do you do? Like if you're at a networking event, a lot of times people say, oh, we do marketing and financial services. And then that's the end of the conversation, right? But if you say, well, we help businesses, what did I say? You know, even this part is like, we help businesses that are being held back by by complex financial systems that don't understand their unique needs. And we help them, you know, we help them gain financial clarity and confidence so that they're positioned for financial growth, allowing them to secure funding and help them thrive and build a lasting legacy that empowers their community. So, you know, that's much more powerful than just saying, you know, we do financial and accounting services. You're talking about what's the problem that you solve and what's the result. So now you have that, we'll do your website. So this is the prompt for your website. Elite website homepage, landing page, copy, wireframe generator. Again, customer centricity, empathy and authority, clarity and conciseness. Zoom in on this. Action oriented. You know, we want to tell them when people come to our website, we want them to know exactly what they need to do next in order to do business with us. So you're going to have a header section. You're going to talk about the stakes, the problem and its consequences, your value proposition, what transformation and benefits that they're going to experience. You're going to talk about yourself a little bit in the guide section. You're going to talk about the plan. What do they expect when in doing business with you? You're going to have an explanatory paragraph, which it kind of brings everything together. Testimonials, your core offer showcase, and then FAQs is a really powerful part of your website, because what your FAQs actually do is answer the objections that your customers have. So a lot of times people don't use the FAQ section very strategically. They're just like, well, you know, very kind of random stuff, but an AI can help you to understand, well, what are some common objections? Why would somebody not want this? Or what questions would they have that would prevent them from doing business with me? And you can answer those questions for them, or on your website. So I told it, you're a world-class marketing strategist, elite copywriter, and conversion optimization expert. So conversion means when they come to your website, you want your website to convert, meaning you want them to sign up. You want them to book a call. You want them to download your free guide. You want them to sign up for your webinar. That's a conversion. You got their contact information and you converted them into a customer, into your funnel. So here's your headline: financial clarity for Indigenous entrepreneurs. We help you navigate complex financial systems so you can build a thriving business that empowers your community. Schedule your free consultation. So we've talked about exactly what are we offering, you know, financial services so that you can navigate the complex financial systems and build a thriving business that empowers your community. So you've told them right away. And so when somebody lands on your website, they're going to know exactly, okay, I'm in the right place. What do I got to do? Oh, schedule a free consultation. And then the prompt I even have the prompt give you a suggested visual, a high resolution image showing a native or indigenous business owner, perhaps an artisan, farmer, restaurateur, looking confident and focused, not stressed. The image should convey a sense of pride and community with a calm and vibrant color palette. So this is your hero image. This is your hero section. The first thing that they see, you know, you got your headline, your subheadline, and then your image. That it's really like it's the hero image. Once the hero has been through the transformation that they want to go through. Yes, question?
Question, do they all in order or can you pick and choose what you need from the tens?
Like if you know your unique value proposition, then I guess you don't need to go through it, but I would still go through it because, you know, just to kind of verify or validate what you're already thinking and maybe even give you more ideas. Again, with the deep research, I mean, you can really go, you don't have to do it in order, but this is the order that I go through. And I would just, even if you already have your website set up, like I would go through this process and just find out where can you improve, you know, what's missing in your content. This is a kind of a cool tool. Well, I don't know if I want to do that, but so see, this is the content for your website. This is the first section, your header section, the stakes section. Stop letting a broken system hold you back. Build a legacy of financial strength. This is your value proposition section. This is your guide section. You don't have to go at it alone. Let me see. I'm gonna say, can you create a prototype of this website in a canvas? So this is another tool that it does this canvas thing, which is pretty powerful. And you can actually build like apps in here or prototypes for apps. So let's see. Take a little minute here. Any other questions in the chat? You guys following? I know it's a lot, but you know, before this would take hours and hours and hours to even just get to this point. And if you had a marketing consultant, it would be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for somebody to go through this process with you before AI, you know, to do all that research and to come up with these headlines. Like you'd have to just like the way we used to do it before AI is we would just write down like 20 to 50 headlines just to brainstorm, right? Write them down, and then, you know, try to come up with the best, you know, mix and match the words that we liked. But now with AI, it just does it so much faster. It's still writing the code, but it writes code like, and that's the other thing too. It codes for you super fast. I think the internet is slow, but what it would do is it would show you kind of a prototype of what the website would look like. Anyways, we'll come back to it. So we created your brand script. We generated your website copy, high converting homepage. You got your hook and problem. We gave them the plan, social proof, authority. And then now you can start building other content like your blogs. So I'm just going to focus on blogs because that's really what's going to help you with your search engine optimization and your blog posts. Because once you have your blog post, you can turn that into social media posts, break it up into social media posts, make, you know, short video content about it. So what you want to do, we'll go back to the next prompt here, prompt number 6. And the other thing that blogs do, it helps you build authority. So it helps you, you know, build authority in your niche so that you can, so you have all this content on your website that shows your expertise, demonstrates your expertise. Why is content strategy crucial? For organic visibility, builds authority and trust. It funnels customers naturally. It gives you a competitive advantage. So what this thing is going to do, or what this prompt is going to do, it's going to give you some ideas. So it's going to give you sub niche. So you have your niche, but because most niches are going to be competitive still, you want to have a sub niche, and that's going to help you find people that are searching for specific things, because people don't just search like accounting services. They say best accounting services for native owned businesses. You know, they get real specific. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So we're going to copy this page. We're going to copy this prompt, go back to my chat. This thing's still not done. Just refresh to see if it's done yet. No. All right. We'll come back to it. All right. So this is sub niche and core content idea generation. So based on our discussions, your primary niche is financial services for native owned and indigenous owned businesses. This is powerful yet broad topic. By focusing on a specific sub niches, we can build authority more effectively and capture high intent search traffic. So people are, like I was saying, people are searching online for answers. And so your blog posts are going to answer those questions that they're having. And again, position you as an expert guide. So here are the sub niches: financial management for creative entrepreneurs, tribal and native business funding, financial and tax planning for tribal entities, e-commerce for remote indigenous businesses, generational wealth and business legacy. Delphine, do you think any of these are most apply to you?
I think the top one,
Okay.
I have a contract with a client that does artists and creators, so that one would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more, like I said, I'm my small business is my niche. That's my target market. I want to just focus on that rather than like the big corporate businesses.
Okay. So it's saying, please choose one of the 5 sub niches above that you would like me to focus on. I will use your selection to create a detailed 20 article content plan designed to help you dominate that niche on Google. So we're going to say sub niche 1. And so one of the things that I always tell business owners, well, you should have like a blog or you should write articles. And they're like, well, what do I write about? So this will really help you have an idea of what you should write about. So really this thing saying your main informational pillar post should be the ultimate guide for financial management for Native Indigenous artists. So, that if you're an Indigenous artist and you need financial services, then this guide would be very relevant to you and it would position you as an expert. And then here's another one, how to get a grant for your art business, the complete guide. So you're answering all these questions and here's all these other information, all these other ideas. How to pitch your art and craft to make a profit. What is a bookkeeping system and do I need one for my art business? 5 common financial mistakes new artists make and how to avoid them. A simple guide to separating personal and business finances. Understanding the different types of grants for Native artists. Should I form an LLC for my small art business? Essential financial documents for your creative businesses. Tax deductions for artists. How to track business expenses on a tight budget. How to register as a business for your Native craft work. So see, these are all really good articles that you could have on your website that are going to build up your search engine optimization, because Google is searching the website. When somebody searches for something, they're searching for the best answer to give to the user. And if Google sees that you have all these articles on your website, then it's gonna assume that you are an expert and that you know what you're talking about, and that you might be one of the best recommendations for the person, that's the user. So that's really what building your brand and building your authority and owning the niche that we've talked about. So these are all the ideas. And then finally, the last one is, once you can pick one of these articles, and this prompt will help you generate the article quickly. Let's see. You will execute this task. Oh, so it's gonna generate an outline. You're gonna pick the keyword or the topic, and it's gonna generate the outline. It's gonna give you headings and bullet points, and then it's just gonna help you create the content. It's gonna work with you to create the content, and I'll show you how that works. So that it's not just making up stuff, but it's asking you for real. You'll see. Just for like real, what's the word? Case studies or examples. So we'll say, the first article we want to do is the ultimate guide to financial management for Indigenous artists, because that's what it asked me. I said, which article do you want? It said, please provide the specific article idea or target keyword you would like to focus on for this post. So I selected this one. It said, that's an excellent choice. So it created this outline. Meta description, usually when you post blogs, it's going to ask you for a meta description, and this is what the part that the search engine is going to read and even show onto the search result. And it's going to give you the introduction. It's going to give you the headline, the outlines, your first step, setting up a solid financial foundation, mastering the art of pricing your work, simple systems for tracking income and expenses, accessing capital from grants to loans, building financial legacy for the next generation, taking control of your finances. Then it gives you a conclusion, and then it gives you the keywords to use. So when you're writing a blog, if you're like using WordPress, it'll ask you what keywords, and you can use all these, enter all those. So it's saying our outline is complete. Now we'll begin writing the content section by section. For the first header 2 section, your first steps to setting up a solid financial foundation. Do you have any specific stories, client anecdotes, common mistakes you've observed, or a unique tip/lesson that you'd like to share related to this topic? Just a few sentences or bullet points are great. So Delphine, do you have any insight into setting up your solid financial foundation?
Not right now. I mean, this is really helpful for me to think about, because there's the things that you're talking about are things that I've been wanting to do. I'm just a one-woman person right now. Eventually, those are the things I want to do in the future.
What's a common mistake that people do when it comes to their financials? Just give me one.
Commingling.
Commingling.
So basically, commingling means when you're running a business and you're still utilizing your personal bank account And also sometimes you do have your business account, so you utilize both. So as a bookkeeper, it's a little bit time consuming when we have to like look line by line when you're commingling to your personal accounts.
So see, it says, this is an excellent and incredible common mistake. It's perfect for real world insight to include in this section. So here, I wrote the whole section for you now, but it's also based on your own insight and your own experience. So, and then I'll go to the next section. For this next section, mastering the art of pricing your work. Do you have any specific personal stories? So we won't get into it. We're out of time, but you know, just I set up these prompts to guide you through the process. So it's asking you questions, you're prompting it, and it's asking for your, you know, personal stories, your anecdotes, your insights, so that it can be actually your own story, but AI is helping you to develop it. And so it's yours, but AI is helping you. Any other questions? That's my presentation. That's really what I do for my clients. I help them, you know, identify their niche. I help them, you know, understand their market and their industry, help them come up with their messaging, help them come up with their offers, helping them with their website and then with their content. So after you go through this process and it creates the article for you, you can post the article on your website. The next prompt I would give it is something like, maybe I'll add it later into the Google Drive, but like, give me a 1 month. So I would recommend doing this like at least once a month, is posting a new blog on your website. And then with that blog, say, based on this blog, give me a 30-day content calendar. What kind of visuals should I do? What platform should I use? Which type of content, video, images, text, you know, who can I partner with to get a better reach? So it'll give you a lot of ideas, and it'll give you a whole 30-day calendar of what you can do. So, oh man, that was a lot, huh, guys? All right, video. Yeah. I appreciate you guys jumping on. I hope I didn't overwhelm you guys.
Taya Snyder, is there any particular reason you prefer Gemini over other AI platforms?
Yeah, so I was saying that I just like to use Gemini because, for one, it does that deep research because it's connected to Google and it's able to do some really good deep research. The other reason is because I have an account with Google for my Google Workplace for my email, and it comes with, you know, Google Docs, and so I get included in that plan is my Gemini Pro AI tool. So because it's a pro account, I like to use it, and it connects. It integrates well with the Google Docs and Google Slides, so I can easily upload those documents. But that's the only reason. I like other ones that are, I mean, ChatGPT is good, Claude is good. I like to use those ones. And again, let me share that the prompts again. Yeah.
And just lots of awesomes. Thank you. Appreciate them all. Very informative. Is there any questions for me?
That's how we get that says in person.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Heather's gonna send out the prompts to the people that are here in person.
And does the for the water edge financial services?
Not yet. We're gonna work. That's why I wanted to do this with her, because I know she doesn't have a website yet. So let me see if that website got made. So,
And then a comment that the new agent may be great to do a whole half-day workshop hands on training. on this.
yeah, it would. I mean, ideally, like if we had more time, it would be. Maybe Change Labs has some funding for that. Let's see. It didn't create my website. That's a bummer.
PR stuff.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi is pretty weak here.
Maker?
Rainmakermedia.group. Good question. That's my website, rainmakermedia.group. You can email me at Adrian, rainmakermedia.group. Thank you guys. I enjoyed this. I hope it helped out you guys. Dang it, it's still not working. But the other thing is cool too, is like I use this other thing called famous.ai. And like if you need a website, you just type in what do you want it to build, and or even an app. It'll even build an app for you or something. So this is a kind of a cool tool that I like to play with. All right, you guys, do you got any closing things that you want to close out with? Okay. That's cool.
You can close that so they do it.
Hey, thank you so much, Adrian. If there are no more questions from the chat or from the Zoom room or Shiprock, no worries. We are recording, so this session will be uploaded to the YouTube channel. as soon as we can get the final edits completed. And then we will let people know that the video is ready for browsing. I know it was definitely a lot, so it'll be helpful to have the recording and then take bite-sized portions of it. I might as well play it in slow motion so I can go follow through step by step too. But thank you so much, Adrian. I really, really appreciate it. And then the rest of the Change Labs team here. If anyone in the room, virtual or in person, have any questions, please reach out to any Change Labs member. We're happy to answer any questions that you have and get you connected with the resources that you're needing or help you with next steps. It was exciting to see Delphine's example get put through this process. Delphine happens to be one of our incubator alumni, as well as Mackenzie, and they're always great cheerleaders for us. So talking about what's next, our next workshop will be in next month. So if you do have an online presence or you're considering an online presence, we are going to be talking about cybersecurity in our next workshop. So if you go to our events page, changelabs.org/events or nativestartup.org/events, it'll take you to the same site. You can also email us if someone, let me drop the email. So it's gonna be hello@nativestartup.org for any questions at all. And then we can also, answer any questions. I'm so sorry, everyone. My brain is all fuzzy now. It's almost the weekend. I hope y'all have a really great rest of your week, rest of your weekend. Have a safe week, drink some water, and we hope to see you next time.